track superstar Usain Bolt never received his money back after he demanded an investment firm return $12 million that was stolen from his investment account. He had nearly $13 million in his account and was only left with about $12,000. All of it basically gone, leaving many Jamaicans wondering what happened to his money and questioning if the woman who admitted to stealing from him is a part of a bigger scheme. Recently, authorities caught up to that woman and charged her for several crimes after it was discovered that she stole billions from several clients who held their funds at the bank that employed her. Usain Bolt was one of dozens of victims. Instead of taking full accountability, the woman is now all of a sudden appearing in court in a wheelchair, arguing that she has health problems now and she's too sick to be in jail. Yeah, right. We're going to jump into it, but first, take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. If you're watching from Jamaica, drop your flag below in the comments and let me know what you think about this story. Jamaica's most famous athlete, 8-time Olympic gold medal sprinter Usain Bolt, widely considered the greatest sprinter of all time, retired back in 2017. Even in retirement, he continued to represent his country and give back to the people. He's a champion who always championed his people too. This is why many Jamaicans are upset that someone would do this to him, steal from him in his own country. On January 18, 2023, lawyers for Bolt said that more than $12.7 million was missing from his account with a private Jamaican investment firm. That's $1.9 billion in Jamaican dollars. His attorney publicized the incident and made the public aware when they sent a letter to the Associated Press. They also sent a letter to the Jamaican investment firm, Stocks and Securities Limited, known as SSL. In that letter, Usain Bolt's attorney said SSL had 10 days to cough up the money. The new account balance was only $12,000. Very upsetting. Bolt's attorney said a serious act of fraud and larceny, or a combination of both, was committed against him. His attorneys went on to threaten civil and criminal action if the money was not returned within 10 days. SSL did not immediately respond to a request for comment. On its website, the company told its clients to direct all urgent questions to Jamaica's Financial Services Commission, which is currently investigating the firm. Now, this isn't the first time that SSL was investigated for questionable practices. The company was flagged in 2017 by staff of the Financial Services Commission, the FSC, for what the commission called a, quote, culture of non-compliance and mismanagement of client funds. Back in 2017, the FSC called SSL a problem institution. At that time, they had been watching the company as they operated under the direction of the FSC for 5 years and still refused to cooperate fully with the commission, failing to file audited accounts within 90 days of the close of a financial year, failing to file its annual report, and granting credit to related parties in violation of orders issued years prior in 2013. At that time, SSL argued that a suspension of their dealer license, even for a day, would lead to a total destruction of the company and destabilization of the financial sector. This was 6 years ago. Now the company is in hot water once again after one of their employees admitted to stealing from her clients' accounts in a multi-billion-dollar scheme. Jean Ann Panton, she was a client relationship manager at SSL. On January 7, 2023, she gave a written statement confessing to fraud and even gave authorities a list of victims. Here's the thing though, in that initial statement, Usain Bolt's name was not mentioned.
Well, I can say that you're aware of the multi-agency investigation that's going on in relation to activities SSL. So as part of the investigation, a team of officers led by the head of the fraud squad as well as the investigative department of the FID, so they conducted a search at the home of Ms. Panton, who is at the center of the investigation. So far, not much I can share about the search. What I can tell you that they have taken some documents that they believe could be of assistance to them. They will be analyzing those documentation to see if it provides any support to the ongoing investigation. They have also taken into their custody some cell phones, which will be analyzed. So at this stage, we don't know what's going to come of this search, what it will lead to, but so far, that's where they are with the investigation at the moment.
A search was conducted a couple of weeks later, around January 20th, and then the next month later, Jean Ann was interviewed by the Financial Investigations Division and the Jamaica Constable Forces Fraud Squad for a couple of days. This took place between February 14th and the 16th. After they wrapped up those interviews, Jean Ann was arrested and slapped with multiple fraud charges in relation to the theft of billions from the investment accounts of 39 clients, including Usain Bolt, who wasn't previously mentioned. Some of her charges listed include forgery, larceny as a servant, uttering forged documents, and breaching the Proceeds of Crime Act. After initially excluding Bolt's name, reports show Jean Ann confessed to stealing from his account since he opened it in 2012. She often used his account to cover up the money that she stole from other clients' accounts. Out of the 39 clients, Jean Ann has only been charged in relation to 3 clients so far, including Usain Bolt and his manager. 4 more clients have since come forward to report her for theft. Jean Ann obviously stole the money from her clients without their consent, taking the money in several ways. For the clients who she had partial control, that's when the clients are supposed to send a request for money to her in writing. She allegedly made up fake emails to do this. That's why she's accused of forging documents and signatures to steal money. On other accounts, clients gave her full control, giving her co-ownership of the account that allowed her to access the money whenever she wanted. Basically, they listed her name on some of those accounts. The clients thinking that she was moving money around on their behalf, but she was actually stealing money for herself. Jean Ann's attorney, Tamika Harris, applied for bail at the Supreme Court in downtown Kingston on her behalf, citing medical grounds. The former SSL employee turned into a whole character, showing up to court in a wheelchair. Harris argued that her client was born with a dislocated hip and has had a series of 25 surgeries since the age of 2. Attorney Harris said Jean Ann required wheelchair assistance and the use of a walker as part of her rehabilitation. She also said side effects from the antibiotics prescribed made balancing herself challenging. The judge, Lorna Shelley Williams, was reportedly unimpressed with the medical claims and questioned why medical documents only stated that Jean Ann had diabetes and the date of her last surgery, but nothing claiming that she could not walk. Judge Williams told Attorney Harris, quote, "I am not saying that you can't put forward all of this, but if you are going to do that, you need a medical report that supports your position." Jean Ann also has to inject herself with insulin for her diabetes that requires refrigeration. Attorney Harris questioned if authorities would be able to preserve the insulin in such an environment when Jean Ann needed delicate care. Justice Lorna Shelley Williams did not fall for the wheelchair stunt and denied Jean Ann bail, citing the gravity of the charges. So the matter will return to court on June 15th, 2023 for plea and case management. Usain Bolt, he's still trying to wrap his mind around what's happened here. He told reporters, quote, "It's tough, but I think through the years I've competed, it has helped me to understand and focus on what matters. I will leave the matter in my lawyer's hands and focus on my family. Try not to think too much about it because it's a stressful situation." Usain Bolt also announced that he fired his business manager over the scandal, and the split wasn't amicable.
Welcome back now to Primetime Sports Friday. 8-time Olympic champion Usain Bolt says he is just as confused as most people regarding the multi-million-dollar fraud case involving his account at local investment house Stocks and Securities Limited (SSL). But the world's fastest man left no doubts about the split between himself and his longtime former business manager.
In his first public comment since news broke that he had been defrauded of millions of US dollars from his account at local investment house Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL, the world's fastest man Usain Bolt struck a resilient tone. Interestingly, the 8-time Olympic champion says he has drawn on the mental toughness he learned throughout his illustrious career to help him navigate the stresses of his current plight.
For me, it's tough, but I think through the years of competing, that helped me to understand and just focus on what's the matter. I leave the matter in my lawyer's hand, you understand? I'm just trying to focus on my family and try not to think too much about it because it's a stressful situation.
Bolt also cleared the air on the parting between himself and longtime business manager Norman Peart.
It was simple. He was fired. That's pretty much all I have to say. My lawyer said, no, I shouldn't say a lot about that, but it was not amicable. He was fired.
The allegations have played out largely in the public domain, but Bolt says he has no more clarity than the average Joe. So how much of a hit was it?
I'm not broke, but it's definitely put a damper on me, you understand? It was for my future. Everybody knows I have 3 kids. Still looking out for my parents and I still want to live very well.
And for any Jamaican who thought the 36-year-old sprint legend was thinking of moving to a foreign land because of his current predicament, he had this message.
I just want to say to Jamaica that no matter what's going on right now, Jamaica is my country. And it will never change, and I will always love my country and always do everything in my power to uplift this country no matter what's going on. Thank you very much.
Bolt was speaking at the launch of the Gibson McCook Relays, where he will be the patron of this year's event. Keon Reina reporting for TVJ Sports.
So you have this woman here, Jean Ann. She's been stealing from Usain Bolt for over 10 years, 11 years. How is it that no one noticed this? No one at the bank noticed. The clients didn't notice themselves. As for Usain Bolt, no one noticed on his team, leaving many wondering if Jean Ann had some connection with the Bolt team. Whatever the case, Usain Bolt definitely wasted no time getting rid of his business manager, because even if his business manager had nothing to do with it, the lack of oversight was still enough to let him go. I know one thing though, I'm happy to see Usain Bolt is alive and well, because if you have people that will steal from you, they will definitely kill you. Try to get rid of you so they can escape punishment for what they've done. Over the years, he's invested so much into the people of Jamaica, so hopefully these government entities will force SSL to do right by him as well as their other clients and order them to pay back all of the money. SSL, they're profitable. They should be sending out profits to the victims instead of shareholders until the money is all paid back. And it's just unbelievable. Jean Ann, she's been stealing for over 10 years. She's been walking all over the place with no problem with her diabetes and her dislocated hip. But all of a sudden, when it's time to see a judge, she's talking about she can't walk. And then Judge Williams knew that Jean Ann was just being a con artist once again and wasn't trying to hear it. She ordered her in her wheelchair back to jail where she belongs. I'm sorry, a wheelchair won't stop you from going to jail. And there's many people behind bars with medical issues they have to take medication for. Jean Ann, you're not the first. Now, if anybody else worked with her in any way, I expect for it to all come out in court. If Jean Ann was not alone, she is definitely not going to go down by herself. She's going to tell. So anyone in cahoots with this woman should also be punished. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. What do you think should happen to Jean Ann? And do you think SSL will be forced to repay Usain Bolt for all the money that was stolen from him and dozens of others by their former employee? Shout out to our brothers Robert P., Dark Power, Ken, and Charles B. I appreciate all of you for your support. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.